Hello, everyone, and welcome to Building the Dream behind the London 2012 Olympic Park. I'm Abhijit, your host and project manager for this grand project. Planners, engineers, designers, and managers working tirelessly to make sure everything happens on time. That's exactly what we are diving into today. How one of the most complex projects in UK history was planned, delivered, and transformed into long-lasting legacy. The London 2012 Olympic Park infrastructure project wasn't just about building stadiums, it was about regenerating East London, creating sustainable spaces, and proving the large scale public projects can deliver on budget, on time, and with vision for the future. As a project manager, my role was to make that vision real, aligning teams, managing risk, keeping the entire program on track under the intense public and political pressure. We coordinated dozens of venues, new transport routes, housing developments, and ambitious environment goals, all working towards one immovable deadline, the opening ceremony. A project of this scale only succeeds through collaboration, and I'm joined today by four brilliant colleagues who helped me shape the games from concept to legacy. To begin, let's talk about one of the biggest challenges on project this complex, managing risk and embedding sustainability from day one. And for that, we turn to someone who worked right at the heart of it, Inga. So over to you, Inga.
Hi, Abhijit. Thank you for having me today. Hi, guys. Hello, everyone. In my capacity as a risk and sustainability manager for London 2012, I sat in the intersection of two critical work streams. On the risk side, I was responsible for identifying, assessing, monitoring, and escalating program level risks across all delivery organizations. From Olympic Delivery Authority to LOCOG to our supply chain partners, that meant maintaining risk registers, ensuring proper governance, and making sure contingency plans, that is very important, were ready when needed. On the sustainability side, I worked to embed environmental, social, and long-term legacy considerations into everyday decision, from venue design, materials, to land remediation, water management, and carbon metrics. Our ambition was to deliver a successful game, but also a sustainable and a green one.
So thank you, Inga. Risk and sustainability were just one side of the story. Truly understand games, we need to look at the competition themselves, the heart of Olympic experience. So now let's move from planning to the action on the ground with Abbas. So over to you, Abbas.
Hi everyone, I'm Abbas and I served as one of the sports manager for the London 2012. My job was to oversee the planning, coordination and delivery of sports competitions, making sure every event ran smoothly for athletics, officials and spectators. That meant working closely with venue team, sports federation, logistics, security and international governing bodies to ensure everything met Olympic standards. But it wasn't just about sport, it was about building a legacy. Many of those venues are still in use today, serving communities and future athletics long after the games ended.
Thank you, Abbas. Of course, none of this would have been possible without strong governance and oversight. Behind every venue and every competition was framework ensuring transparency, accountability, and long-term value. To take us behind that process, here is Fad. Over to you, Fad.
Thank you so much, Abhijit, and thank you so much, everyone. It was really honor for working with you guys. So, my responsibility was to coordinate policy, funding, and delivery across public bodies while keeping the project aligned with the social, environmental, and long-term legacy goals. I worked with planners, delivery agencies, and community stakeholders to manage budget timelines and sustainability targets, ensuring that the investment continued to benefit London long after the game finished.
Thank you, Fad. And finally, to understand the transformation of East London itself, we turn to the person who helped turn one neglected industrial landscape into the vibrant district we know today. So over to you, Ali.
Okay. Thank you, Abhijit, for having me. London most modern and lived-in district. That is exactly what the London Olympic Park project set out to do. As a project manager within the urban planning team, my job was to guide the entire development from the earlier planning and design to construction and final delivery. Our goal was not just to build for 2012 but to create a space that could serve communities for generation. I work with architects, engineers and the government bodies to keep everything on track, budget, schedule, sustainability and legacy goal. To me, this project was not about building stadium, it was about transforming a forgotten area into a long-lasting community asset.
Thank you, Ali. And that brings together the voice behind the London 2012 project, each playing a crucial role in delivering one of the most ambitious program the UK has ever undertaken. Together in this episode, we'll walk you through the full journey from the earliest planning phase and initial risk through execution under pressure all the way to the lasting legacy still shaping London today. Whether you are interested in project management, sustainability, urban design, or simply curious about how teamwork built modern landmark, this episode will take you behind the scenes of how it all came together. By the end of this episode, you will see how strong leadership, collaboration, and clear project management principles turn an ambitious Olympic vision into a living symbol of regeneration and success. Let's jump right in, starting with the planning stage, the early hurdles, and how our team built the foundation for the London 2012 success story. As we move from the introduction into the core of today's discussion, we'll explore how one of the world's largest and most complex projects, the London 2012 Olympic, was delivered through the structured phases of project management. We'll walk you through initiation plan, then planning, execution, monitoring and control, and closing, each phase led by different managers involved in shaping this monumental project. Let's begin with phase 1, initiation. So this will be presented by Abbas. Over to you, Abbas.
Phase 1, the initiation stage, is where the London 2012 story truly began. Before any ground was broken or any venue design were drafted, our role as sports manager was to help shape the core vision of what the Olympic needed to deliver. Thousands of athletes, dozens of sports, millions of sports spectators, and strict international standards. In this early stage, we work closely with the wide network of stakeholders, a bid committee, the International Olympic Committee, IOC, National and International Sport Federation, the Olympic Delivery Authority, local councils, transport agency and community group across East London. Together we identified what each sport required in terms of venues, field of play, layouts, accessibility, athlete services, scheduling, and logistics. These conversations shaped the project's fundamental requirements and long-term ambitions, from operation excellence to meaningful community legacy. The initiation phase wasn't just about planning competitions, it was about aligning all stakeholders behind a shared vision for what the games could achieve for London. This is where the Olympic dream first transformed into a structured roadmap, setting in foundation for every decision that followed. With the vision firmly established and stakeholders aligned, the project moved into the next major milestone, turning ambition into a detailed blueprint. For that, I hand over to Ali, who led phase 2 planning. Over to you, Ali.
Okay, if I talk about phase 2 planning. In the phase 2, the planning stage was where the vision of the London Olympic 2012 Olympic Park began to take real shape. As the urban planning manager, my goal was to translate the goal set during a detailed, buildable and sustainable master plan. This phase brought together architect, engineers, transport planner, environmental specialists, and the government agencies to design a park that could deliver a world-class games while laying the foundations for the long-term urban regeneration. We develop in-depth plans for venue, location, transport links, public route and spaces, and housing, ensure every element meet Olympic standard while integrating seamlessly into our future of East London. Planning also required close coordinated with local authorities, community groups, environmental regulators, and the London Legacy Development Corporation. Balancing Olympic operation needs with the sustainability target and community prime concern was crucial. It was about setting up a complex ecosystem of people, infrastructure, regulation, and the long-term goals. The plan create the blueprint that guide construction, a master plan built not only for 2012 but for generation to come. Yeah, so once the plan was approved and the all system was aligned, the focus shifted from designing the games to building them. To take us through phase 3 execution, we moved to Inga, who oversaw our risk and sustainability during delivery.
So, right, we talk about the phase 3, that's the execution stage, where the years after planning met the reality and delivering one of the world's most complex construction programs. Throughout execution, we actively monitored high-level risks such as construction delays, contractors' performance, environmental hazard, and health and safety issues. Risk registers were updated continuously, and issues were escalated throughout governance bodies when necessary. We also actively updated contingency plans, including alternative procurement roles and backup contractors. For instance, we had the issue with G4S when on the day of the Olympic opening, they were unable to provide agreed level of security. So in this case, we had military stepping in to help us out to prevent all the terror risks or national threats in place. From the point of a sustainability perspective, execution was where our commitments became tangible. Contaminated land across the site were remediated successfully, green building materials were prioritized, low carbon technologies were installed, and ecological habitats were restored. That include insects and living little creatures. Daily coordination ensured transparency, compliance, and continuous improvement. This phase was intense, fast-paced, and highly coordinated. But it was here that the Olympic Park truly came to life, built safe, sustainable, and ready for global attention. With construction advancing and major risks actively managed, we moved to the critical stage of monitoring performance and ensuring policy compliance. For this, we hand over to Fahad. Thank you.
Monitoring and control was where the governance, accountability, and oversight became absolutely essential. As the government manager responsible for governance and policy alignment, my role was to ensure that the Olympic project not only progressed on time and on budget, but also complied with national regulations, public spending expectations, and strategic policy objectives. Throughout this phase, we conducted continuous performance monitoring, reviewing progress reports, budget updates, procurement pathways, and risk registers submitted by the Olympic Delivery Authority and contractors. A key part of monitoring and control involved implementing clear governance frameworks. This included audit processes, compliance checks, policy assessments, and stakeholder reviews with Parliament, local authorities, and the Department of the Culture and Media Sport. And real-time monitoring ensured that the project upheld public trust, maintained financial integrity, and delivered on its commitments to landowners. For a project of this scale, monitoring and control was the backbone that kept the games aligned with national values, public expectations, and long-term legacy objectives. And with performance stabilized, compliance assured, and major risk under control, the final task was to transition the project towards completion and legacy delivery. For that, we returned to Abbas.
Phase 4, the closure and legacy stage, marked the transition from construction megaprojects to fully operational Olympic venue. As we neared completion, our focus moved to final checks, venue certification, and ensuring every space met the right standards required for Olympic competition. From a risk and sustainability perspective, this means verifying that all mitigation actions had been completed, conducting final risk reviews, and ensuring all contingencies were ready for game time operation. Just as critical was preparing for what would come after the games, working with local authorities, legacy organizations, and community stakeholders. We ensured the transformation of the site into the Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park, a thriving mixed use district filled with new homes, public spaces, transport links, and community facilities. A transition from builders and planners to residents, athletes, visitors, and future generations. The legacy we delivered ensured that the spirit of the games would continue long after the flame was extinguished.
Thank you, Abbas. What an incredible journey it's been. From those very first planning sessions to watching the London 2012 Olympic Park become a living symbol of regeneration and pride. Looking back, we all walked away with lessons that shaped not only this project, but how we approach complex programs today. Let's take some time to reflect on what we learned and what we might have done differently. Let me start us off with what lesson we learned. So strong early coordination across all delivery bodies was absolutely essential. When you are managing something this complex, alignment is everything, and our communication rhythms helped stop small issues from becoming major problems. What could have been done differently then? If I had the chance to do it again, I'll introduce unified digital reporting tools much earlier. And honestly, more scenario-based rehearsals will have taken a lot of pressure off these final operation weeks. Of course, no one had the closer view of risk, uncertainty, and sustainability than Inga. Inga, what were your key takeaways from this?
So, in terms of lessons learned, for me, the biggest lesson was the power of proactive risk identification, as from the previous example of G4S failing security. So, and then continuous monitoring helped us navigate challenges at speed and embedded sustainability from day one. So that made a huge difference. What I would do differently in such case, if that happens again, hopefully, I would have loved to involve contractors earlier in sustainability planning. It would have saved us from retrofiling solutions later. And more dynamic contingency modeling, and I believe with current AI system that would be beneficial. And of course, none of this would happen without perception required on the sporting side. Abbas, what insights did you walk away with this?
Early collaboration with International Sport Federation was absolutely crucial. It ensured every venue met competition standards and created an environment truly worthy of Olympic and Paralympic athletics. Operational planning was the glue that held everything together when managing multiple sports across multiple venues. I would definitely start test events earlier next time. They are invaluable for spotting sport-specific issues, and more streamlined coordination with transport and security would have improved athlete movement dramatically. Now, behind all this was an enormous amount of oversight, governance, and public accountability. Fahad, what stood out most from your perspective?
Lessons learned from this job, basically transparency was everything from my side. Clear governance, regular audits, and responsible use of public funds maintained trust and helped keep the project aligned with broader social and environmental objectives. Multi-agency coordination proved basically the agencies their coordination was invaluable, and the thing we could have been done differently. If I could adjust anything, I'd simply some of these approval pathways they really did slow some things down at times. So, an earlier community engagement would have strengthened a local sport and shaped an even stronger legacy plan. So, and finally, none of this would exist without the master plan that shaped the park itself. Ali, what did you take away from the urban planning perspective?
Yeah, sure. The lesson learned was a strong master plan was truly our backbone. It kept us aligned, kept the long term legacy in focus, and ensured sustainability and accessibility were baked in from the beginning. That structure was crucial for delivering a space that still blooms today. And what could have been done differently? I could dedicate more time to earlier community design workshop. Local input is invaluable, and allowing just a bit more flexibility in the master plan could have helped us adapt more quickly during the construction phase.
Oh wow, what a brilliant set of reflections, everyone. When you hear them together, it becomes clear that London 2012 wasn't just construction project or sport event. It was masterclass in collaboration, foresight, and adaptive problem solving. Every challenge taught us something, and every lesson had influenced how we approach major projects today.
Thank you, Inga. In reviewing the life cycle of London 2012 Olympic, our managers have illustrated how a complex mega event can serve as a model of integrated project governance. From the initial phase of strategic initiation and multiple stakeholder alignment, through the disciplined process of urban planning and into the rigorous execution of risk and sustainability frameworks, this case demonstrates the crucial interplay between vision, technical planning, and operational resilience. London 2012 Olympic stands as an institute example of how major projects benefit from early stakeholder consent, evidence-based design, transparent risk communication, and adaptive continuous structures. The project's legacy, spanning physical regeneration, environment improvement, and social value, underscores the long-term impact of embedding sustainability principles into every manager decision pathway. As we conclude, the insight drawn from each manager perspective reframe a central message that effective mega project delivery depends not only on resource and timelines, but on the capacity of interdisciplinary teams to collaborate, anticipate uncertainty, and upload ethical and sustainable practices. We hope this discourse contributes to the ongoing academic dialogue on best practice in project management and support future professionals in advancing responsible, resilient, and sustainable project delivery. Thank you.